There are moments when you don't need a crowd. You just need one person. One person who notices that your voice sounds different. Who asks, "Are you really okay?" Who you can call without wondering whether you're disturbing them. And when that person isn't there, the silence can feel much louder than usual. That is one of the difficult things about loneliness. It isn't always about having nobody. Sometimes it's about having nobody you feel truly connected to. But here's something worth thinking about. What if this season of your life is not asking you to find more people, but to learn how to build deeper relationships with God, with yourself, and with the right people? Because loneliness can expose things we normally avoid. It can show us how much we depend on people's approval. It can reveal the relationships we have been holding onto out of fear. And it can also teach us what genuine connection really looks like. So let's have an honest conversation, as a child of God, about what happens when you feel alone, and how to walk through that season without losing yourself or losing sight of God. Human beings need people. We need someone to celebrate with, someone to talk to, someone to sit beside us when words aren't necessary, someone who can remind us that we're not carrying everything by ourselves. That need for connection isn't a weakness. It is part of being human. But life doesn't always give us the relationships we need at the time we need them. A friendship can end. People can move away. Family relationships can become difficult. A relationship can break apart. We just enter a new season where everyone seems busy with their own lives. And suddenly, the people who once filled your days aren't there anymore. Then something changes inside you. You start noticing the empty chair, the unanswered message, the quiet weekend, the person you used to tell everything to. And sometimes, without realizing it, loneliness begins to affect the way we think. You start questioning your worth. You start comparing your life with other people's lives. You become tempted to accept attention from people who aren't good for you. Just pray about it. Yes, pray. Stay close to God. But also understand your humanity. Understand your need for healthy relationships. Understand your emotions. Learn how to recognize unhealthy connections. And learn how to build a life that remains meaningful even while you're waiting for the right people to come into it. Today, we're going to look at loneliness from that wider perspective. Not simply as an emotion to escape, but as an experience that can teach us about ourselves, our relationships, and our walk with God. One of the first things we need to understand is this. Feeling lonely does not automatically mean something is wrong with you. Sometimes Christians feel guilty when they experience loneliness. They think, if God is with me, why do I feel alone? Shouldn't my faith be enough? Why am I still sad when I pray? But having a relationship with God does not mean you stop being human. God created us for a purpose. From the beginning, human beings were created to live in connection with others. We need friendship. We need family. We need community. We need people we can laugh with. People we can learn from. People who encourage us. People who can sit with us when life becomes difficult. So, if you desire meaningful relationships, that doesn't make you spiritually weak. It makes you human. Problem begins when loneliness makes us believe that we are unwanted or that our lives have no value. Your value does not come from how many people want to be around you. Your value comes from God. People can leave. Friendships can change. Relationships can end. People can misunderstand you. But none of those things change the fact that you were created by God and that your life has value. Psalm 139 reminds us that God knows us deeply. He knows when we sit down. He knows when we rise. He knows our thoughts. He knows us completely. Think about how comforting that is. You may feel unknown by people, but you are not unknown to God. Sometimes loneliness comes from rejection. This is one of the hardest forms of loneliness. Rejection. Being rejected can make you question yourself. You start asking, what's wrong with me? Why didn't they choose me? Why did they leave? Why wasn't I enough? And if you're not careful, one person's rejection can become the way you see your entire identity. But rejection is not always a reflection of your worth. Sometimes people leave because of their own choices. Sometimes friendships simply grow apart. Sometimes two people want different things. Sometimes a relationship ends because it was never meant to continue. And sometimes, yes, we make mistakes that affect relationships. But even when we make mistakes, God does not ask us to spend the rest of our lives punishing ourselves. There is room for forgiveness. There is room for growth. There is room for healing. Think about Peter. Peter failed Jesus in one of the most painful ways. He denied knowing him. Imagine the shame Peter must have felt afterward. But Jesus did not throw Peter away. After the resurrection, Jesus restored him. Peter's failure was not the end of his relationship with Jesus. And your rejection does not have to become the end of your relationship with yourself. You can learn. You can grow. You can heal. And you can continue walking with God. Don't let loneliness make you run to the wrong people. Loneliness creates a strong desire for connection, although that desire may be normal. But when we become desperate to stop feeling alone, we can sometimes accept relationships that are unhealthy. We may ignore red flags because we don't want to lose the person. We may stay where we are, constantly disrespected because we are afraid of having nobody. We may become emotionally dependent on someone simply because they gave us attention. We may even compromise our values because we don't want to be alone. But loneliness should not decide who gets access to your life. Not everyone who gives you attention is good for you. Not everyone who makes you feel wanted has good intentions. And not every relationship that removes loneliness brings peace. There is a difference between being connected and being healthy together. This is where our relationship with God matters. When you know that your identity is rooted in God, you don't have to accept every relationship simply because you are afraid of being alone. You can wait for healthy relationships. You can set boundaries. You can walk away from situations that are harming you. You can say no. You can choose peace over temporary attention. Because being alone, for a season, is better than losing yourself just to keep someone around. God is not a replacement for human connection. Now, this is something important. When we talk about finding comfort in God, we should not misunderstand what that means. Saying God is with you does not mean you don't need people. It does not mean you should isolate yourself. It does not mean you should avoid friendships. And it certainly does not mean you should ignore your need for community. God can work through people too. Sometimes his answer to loneliness is not simply a feeling of his presence. Sometimes his answer is a person. A friend. A mentor. A church community. A family member. Someone who calls you. Someone who listens. Someone who reminds you that you matter. The Word of God in Ecclesiastes chapter 4 speaks about the value of having someone beside you. It says that two are better than one because they can help each other. And this is important. Your relationship with God should not push you away from healthy people. It should teach you how to build healthier relationships with them. God wants you connected to him. And he also wants you to love and care for other people. Your season of loneliness can become a season of growth. We desperately want loneliness to end immediately. And honestly, that feeling is understandable. But while you wait for change, don't waste the season. Use the quiet. Learn about yourself. Learn what you actually value. Learn what kind of relationships you want to build. Spend time with God. Read His Word. Write down your thoughts. Take walks. Learn a skill. Work on your goals. Serve other people. Take care of your body. And of course, rest and allow yourself to grow. You don't need to have everything perfectly figured out. You don't need to become a completely different person. Just keep taking small steps. Sometimes we become so focused on finding someone to fill the empty space that we forget to build a healthy life. Don't wait for a relationship before you start living. Don't wait for the perfect friend before you start enjoying your life. Don't wait for marriage before you become whole. Don't wait for people to approve of you before you pursue what God has placed in your heart. Your life is happening now. And God is present in this season too. Talk to God about your loneliness. This is one of the best ways to strengthen your relationship with God. Be honest with Him. You don't always need complicated words. You can simply say, God, I feel lonely. God, I miss having people around me. God, I don't understand why this season is so quiet. God, help me not to make unhealthy choices because I'm afraid of being alone. God, teach me how to enjoy my life while I wait for meaningful relationships. That is a conversation. And relationship with God involves conversation. We speak to Him. We listen to His Word. We learn His character. We allow Him to correct us. We trust Him. And over time, we begin to understand that prayer is not simply about asking God for things. It is also about knowing Him. Sometimes, you may enter prayer feeling lonely and leave with your circumstances unchanged. But something inside you has changed, your perspective, your strength. Your peace, your ability to wait, your ability to trust. And sometimes, that's where the real work begins. Don't compare your life to other people. Loneliness becomes more heavier when comparison enters the picture. You open social media. Someone is getting married, someone is traveling. Someone has a large group of friends, someone is celebrating a new job. Someone is posting pictures with people who seem to love them. And suddenly, your own life feels small. And you begin to think, everyone has it all figured out for them except me. But remember, you are comparing your private life to someone else's public moments. You don't know the whole story. You don't know what happens after the picture is taken. You don't know what that person is carrying. You don't know what they are praying about. And you don't know what God is doing in their life or yours. Your journey does not have to look like theirs. God does not have one timetable for everybody. Someone else's blessing does not mean God has forgotten you. Someone else's relationship does not mean you are behind. Someone else's progress does not mean you are failing. You are allowed to have your own journey. And you are allowed to trust God with the timing of it. Build a life that is not controlled by loneliness. If loneliness is part of your current season, here are a few practical things you can do. First, stay connected to God. Don't disappear spiritually because you're disappointed. Keep reading, keep learning. Keep talking to God, even when your feelings are not strong. Second, build healthy connections. Join a church group. Talk to someone you trust. Reconnect with a good friend. Attend a community activity. Volunteer. Sometimes meaningful relationships begin in ordinary places. Third, stop chasing people who don't value you. You don't need to constantly prove that you deserve someone's attention. Healthy relationships should not require you to beg for basic respect. Fourth, learn to enjoy your own company. Go for a walk. Read. Cook, create, listen to good music, study, work on your dreams. Take yourself somewhere safe and enjoyable. Being comfortable alone is different from being lonely. Learning to enjoy your own company can give you freedom. Fifth, let God shape your identity. Don't allow your relationship status, number of friends, or social life to become your identity. You are more than those things. You are God's creation. Your life has purpose, and your story is still being written. If you are currently experiencing loneliness, I hope today's conversation reminded you that your feelings are not something you need to be ashamed of. You are human. You were created for connection. It is okay to desire friendship. It is okay to desire love. It is okay to want people around you. Don't allow loneliness to convince you that you are worthless. And don't allow the fear of being alone to push you into relationships that are not good for you. Keep growing. Keep living. Keep building healthy relationships. And most importantly, keep walking with God. Your current season is not the whole story. And if someone came to your mind while watching this, consider reaching out to them, or you can share this video with them. Someone may be quietly carrying the same loneliness. Thank you for being here. Until next time.